What's up? This is Alex, DJ Couch King, and welcome to another video about portablism mods and upgrades. In today's video, I'm taking a look at the new Solid Cutz STR-001 stabilizer for the REV01 Platter. Let's roll the intro and get right into it. Okay, so what exactly is this thing and what is the big deal about it? Well, a couple weeks ago, Solid Cutz made an announcement on their Instagram saying they were working on something new that wasn't a platter, and when they announced it, it was this. Let me take it out of the box so I can show it to you real quick. Hey, look at that. Got some stickers. Ooh, and some Practice Yo Cutz pins. Nice. Shout out to Richie Roughtone and Turntable Training Wax for sending those along with this. That's awesome. So this is it right here. It basically just kind of looks like a hunk of metal. Let me take it out of this real quick so you can see. So at first glance, there doesn't seem to be anything too special about this. It just sort of looks like a aluminum skateboard wheel. It's kind of got a little bearing in the middle here, and yeah, it just looks like a machined piece of metal. It comes with an extra bearing, so I don't know if that means that this is just gonna wear down eventually or what that means, but time will tell. So I've actually already installed one of these into one of my PT01 tables. If you've been watching the channel, you know I have two tables that are pretty well decked out. So why would I need this? Well, I'll get into that a little bit later, but just so you understand who this was designed for, this is designed for people who have upgraded their PT01 Scratc with the REV01 Platter, also made by Solid Cutz. And in fact, this will do you no good if you don't have that platter. So it costs about 35 euros or $50 US. I ordered it from Turntable Training Wax, and if you're in the US, you can get it from open format. If you are overseas in the UK, Europe, I would probably go through Richie Roughtone's website. I had to wait a while to get this shipped overseas, but Turntable Training Wax was the first one to get it, and I'm typically an early adopter of these mods because the more I can make my portables feel like an actual turntable, the more excited I am to use them. So real quick, the installation is fairly simple. If you have already installed a platter into your turntable, then this will be no problem for you. There is almost nothing to it, and stick around, I'll show you that in just a second. I do want to point out these stickers on the bottom. Now these aren't actually functional according to the people at Solid Cutz. I sent them a message on Facebook and they said that pretty much all this is for is just to keep this from moving when you're transporting your table. So real quickly, let's take a look at how to install this. So as you can see from the video, it's a pretty painless installation. If you have had to take your platter off to replace a belt, or if you've installed a new platter, this should be no problem for you whatsoever. I mean, it takes almost no time at all. So at $50, why did I buy this little hunk of metal? Well, the whole marketing scheme from Solid Cutz with this was that it will prevent corrosion and it will prevent bending by the platter. And I thought to myself, wait a minute, corrosion, bending, those both sound like bad things. Now they haven't outright said that that's a common problem with the REV01 platters, but my guess is if that's kind of how they're marketing this, then they've probably seen some issues with that in the past. And if you're like me and you've spent a lot of money on modifications and upgrades for your PT01 Scratc, you probably want to do anything that you can do to prevent any issues. So the more I thought about it, it's a little bit pricey, and especially since I had to buy two of these, since I have two tables, it was not cheap. I mean, and especially with the cost of the platter is about $100, and this is another 50, and of course I'm talking in US dollars here, but either way that's $150, which is more than the cost of the actual turntable just for a couple pieces of aluminum. But the platter in itself is awesome. I didn't do a review video or an unboxing video on that, but it does show up in some of my other videos, so make sure to check those out if you're curious about the platter. But again, anything that I can do to prolong the life of my turntables, I want to do, because I've spent quite a bit. I mean, at this point, I've spent enough that I could have just bought a new set of decks. So definitely worth it for that. But as far as pros and cons, I mean, yes, this does add some stabilization to the platter. It definitely makes it feel more solid. I mean, it's marginal. You're not going to put it in there and go, wow, this is a phenomenal difference. I think the platter by itself already adds so much stability to scratching on a portable turntable. This is just sort of like icing on the cake. But if it prolongs the life, again, I think this is the big selling point. If you put one of these tables in there, and it's gonna turn out later on down the road, maybe a year, 2 years from now, that these platters are bending and warping or starting to corrode the inside of the PT01 Scratc, then that for me is worth it. This may not be for everyone, but again, for me, just because of how much I've put into my turntables already, I want to make sure that they last for a long time. So hopefully this video has been helpful. If you're thinking about buying one of these, let me know in the comments. If you have one already, I'd love to hear what you think about it. Do you think it was worth the money in conjunction with the platter? Before I close, I do want to say again, if you don't have the platter, don't bother buying one of these. You need to get a REV01 platter first. If you like this video and you learned something from it, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. My channel is all about DJing, portablism, and music production in Ableton Live. So if you're into those things, I'd appreciate having you here as a subscriber, and hope that you can learn something from my channel. Thanks for watching. Peace.